of the house system is to get one OLAP system. In the OLAP system, we comment and create all the tables and then do the coding, right? So, basic goal is to load, design whole system where we can get data from OLTP system. Basic goal is to develop a whole new system and get reporting from there. I explained you the multiple phases to OLTP system and load the data there. In today's class, we were talking about how we can load OLTP to OLAP, right? Let's do the diagram once more.
I'm not able to see anything on my screen.
Talking about this diagram, there is one called Oracle on the system, on our database, and New York City, the source system, the OLTP system, Informatica server. Target system is in Washington DC. So works. The OLTP system will be connected to Informatica server, and again server will be connected to OLAP system in Washington DC, and will work always on Informatica client. You will in some other different cities. Client and server will be connected to each other, and when you are going to work on data client, most of the time you have to work on this to design the code, flow manager, to code, flow monitor to look at of the code. I'm going to show a few of the sample mappings today, where I consider one table is in OLTP system and one in OLAP system. So suppose in this system, I have a table called M2. In the OLAP system, I have a table called. So I need to load data from employee table to TGT1 table. Database. And also you have work on employees table, right?
still able to see anything. My screen is blank.
So there is a table called employees. So let's start from employees. Now I have another table called TGT1. I have some data in this table too. So I'm going to delete the data. Submit it. Now, if you will go and select the data from this table, so what are the columns are there in this table? There are ID, name, cell, and DID. So let's first of all, what my source table, we have to find it out. Is employees, right? And target table, guys, any one of you? Is
One.
TGT1. Now, load data from employees to TGT1. In TGT1, there are 4 columns. What columns are there in TGT1? The NPID, name, cell, and TID. In employees, we have many columns. Have employee ID, name, salary, job ID, department ID. Make an employee. I did not put all the columns though. With TGT1, we have only 4 columns. You can make a guess. Column from employee ID, like source, we load which column in the target.
Employee.
So,
Sorry. For last
Department ID.
I'll make it little smaller. We get the employee ID and load in which column in the target?
Employee ID.
So, then we have to load this employee ID column to the NPI. And e-name, we have only one column. First name. the first name and move to e name. What salary?
Salary equals plus salary.
Correct. So we will go for this cell. About DID.
Department
ID.
Correct. Department ID will go to this DID. Right? All understood the requirement. But both of the tables are there in database. Right? So you can go to Oracle database where we have these tables. Yes, correct. And where we have the target, which is schema. CGT1. So we created just now. There is a table called employees. Another table called and this is my target. These two tables are in database, but we have to create the code in Informatica. In that, what we need to do? We structure to Informatica. And what I have done on the MS Paint right now, some kind of design you will want in Informatica also. Take a guess. Our like our designer, workflow manager, and workflow monitor will do the design from source to target. We're going to make such kind of coding in Connect. Designer, that's wrong. And wrong. There are three components. It's called designer, and it's called workflow manager, it's called workflow monitor. Where we are going to create this design, in which component?
Monitor.
Monitor? Workflow monitor you mean?
Yeah, for monitor.
That's wrong again.
Informatica server.
Okay. First of all, you need to know where you are going to work on any one of these three tools. So it looks like you will work to
Information.
manager is wrong.
Informatica.
The client window has three components: the workflow manager and workflow monitor. Any of these three components you are going to work.
So a combination of two?
No, just one combination.
Information server.
will not have access to create the coding.
Could be the combination of all three.
No, only one, please.
Okay. Designer?
Designer? Anyone else? Designer? Else? Okay. That very much correct. Use kind of coding in designer. Then you might be very much angry, right? Why we are saying wrong from that time? So you have any idea why I was saying you are wrong? Get answer from other guys too. Reason I said you are wrong. So guys, almost all of you made correct guess that they be the designer. Then what is work of workflow manager? Anyone?
Design?
That's very much correct. Guide the design. Yes. So what happens? Create workflow in workflow manager. Just mind the design. Means create the connection there. Connection means what is the source database and what is the target database. We create the design, we just import the structure. Yes. Okay. So we're creating the design, we import the structure. In Workflow Manager, we will customize the connection, and Informatica code runs, it creates many log files. Okay. So we will customize the log file there. Where Informatica go and insert the data in the target, you commit it, right? The commit part also we define in the Workflow Manager. Many error is going to happen. How we are going to track the error, that also we can define in Workflow Manager. So there are a lot of components. We will talk a little later to do in Workflow Manager. There are many tasks in the Workflow Manager. Email, write some operating system commands, or files to run. So we will learn about all these things little later. So these are tasks in Workflow Manager. Now, in Workflow Manager, wait a session task. Session task. So we create in the design, whatever design we are going to create, that mapping. Mapping nodes to target. Okay. And once you are done with the Workflow Manager, then we go to Workflow Monitor. Why? One of you have any guess? Why go to Workflow Monitor?
For analysis.
What analysis?
performance?
Monitor performance, no.
Maybe three of work manager.
No.
Kind of validation for designer purpose.
Maybe display the result from the workflow manager.
No. Anyone else?
To monitor the execution. Did any error? Something like
That's correct. So when we run the workflow in Flow Manager, we enter the job, like how it's running, how much time it's taking, whether it's happening, how data came from source, how many data went to the target. All these things we can do by workflow monitor. So guys, these three components are clear to all of you: designer, partner, Power Center Workflow Manager, and Power Center Workflow Monitor. Is it very much clear or not yet?
yes, it's clear.
Okay, so now let's move forward and do some more things in the designer and workflow manager. When we will log into workflow, in the designer, is your designer. Okay. In the designer, the components: source, analyzer, designer, transformation developer, designer, and mapping designer. What is the use of all these 5 things in the designer actually? To understand here, what we have these things. Okay. Now, the sizer. You will create any design. I'm not going to call it as design now. Okay. I'm going to call it as a mapping. So we will create a mapping. What are the components you need? And see here 2 things, right? What are the things you see here?
Source and destination.
Correct. Source and target. Your source you will bring from any other application. Create it. No. Right. So first of all, you need to create source. Is that and you have created the source. If the source is in any other system, got it? In that case, import the source. In example where we want to load data from employees to TGT1, the X table is in Oracle in HR schema, and TGT1 target is also in Oracle itself. Right? In case what we do, we import the source, and we import the source analyzer. What we import or create source. What are things we are going to do in the source analyzer? We will import or create source. What we are going to do in designer then. Yeah, we will again import or create target. Is all of you? So again, we create the transformation. In Maplet, we create the map, and in Mapping Designer, we create the map. Now, also source, target, and mapping. Right? Mapping is nothing but the same design whatever I have shown you here. Source to target. Design what we created here, this is called map. Map source to target. So MS Paint, that is for you to work on Informatica too. Transformation. So you know ETL, right? Extraction, that extracting data from source. And then transformation means do like filtering the data, for the data, or join, or in the transformation developer, create transformation. So it will ask you, hey guys, you know what? I only enter 20 data, nothing else. And this rule we are going to use in many mapping, that is reusable transformation. Types of transformation, one is usable, one is usable. Any transformation you will create in the transformation developer component, that will be reusable. I will explain you in very much detail in subsequent classes, but I'm going to give you some high level information. Okay. Now in the Maplet Designer, what we are going to do is many transformations for we create in the Maplet Designer. But these two components, transformation developer and Maplet Designer, spend only 10% of total time in three components. Most of the time, the Mapping Designer. How many components we have in the Maplet Designer, Tension Developer, Maplet Designer, and Mapping Designer. All of you?
What is the difference between Maplet Designer and Mapping Designer?
Okay. So, Maplet, we will just use the transformations, where mapping will be source, transformations, and target. So, say that Maplet is a part of mapping. Anyone have? Ask me quickly, please. No.
So mapping designer means and target transformation.
Designer, okay. Let's work on a mapping designer. Right? It too much gray is happening here. But in the designer itself, so let everything go green. Here, source, then we have target, transformations. So your source is with transformation. And the target. And connected. So this is your mapping, guys. So in transformation, when I'm writing, there may be many transformations. Transformation or no transformation also. And the target. Okay. Now about the workflow designer. Designer will be a big W. And what is the color? What for that workflow designer? Anyone? So we have workflow manager. Oh no, it's completely black, right? It will be red actually. Why is black? And you have any idea? Why it is black?
You have to click on the color first and go to pick the color.
Click on the color first.
No, the punch, yeah.
Okay, and then here. It's saying in color 2. colored one somehow got selected here as the curve one preference experience. Color will be red and brown color and background color. So in the workflow manager, you see components. That will be called as sent will be called as worklet, and component will be called as workflow. So there are many tasks, lessons, email, and the one task event wait. There are many more tasks. Okay. One create task. Suppose when your workflow and it has failed, you can email also to the user saying your workflow has failed. Say create for each mapping. Like the mapping designer, we created the mapping, right? So while the mapping, we get session task. You have to copy any file or delete any file, such kind of thing. And it is combination of many tasks. So we create when those many tasks together. And the workflow so basically a group of tasks work. Clear to all of you? So that's how we workflow. Now monitor, we monitor the job. So this is clear to or any confusion.
For me, it looks like worklet and workflow looks the same, right?
Worklet again will have just the many tasks, but you cannot run the workflow. You as many as tasks for worklet, and you can run the task also. Right?
Yep.
Other question?
Very beginning, you delete the target table. So you guys have to do the target table. You have to delete or.
Okay, I deleted the target just to show you how loaded in the current one. Otherwise, we delete the target all of this.
Thank you.
Any question, guys? Anyone? Well, right? Mapping, or you guys just want to know a little bit more about Informatica critically? Are you eager to see the tool?
So the diagram we draw, via mail, like notes. So
And you will get all the documents and all these things. Don't worry about that. One candidate of what you were saying, yeah, I'm very much eager to see the tool. I'm not that much eager to show you the tool. I want to talk more about theoretical part of the tool. So, let me tell you some more about the tool first. So, as I told you, there are two components in the tool here. Let's save it first.
later we don't do anything, right?
Just give me a minute. Two components in center. First, add component and user component. We're just going to work on the user component. We are not going to work on the admin component though. If we're interested to work on the admin component, I will show you some of the where admin do, but in the beginning. Okay. So let's move to the now. Now you understood the requirement, right? What we need to do? Any one of you can explain me what you are going to do here?
Information or data from the source, and then we are transforming it, like we are formatting the data.
No, we are not going to format any data. We are just going to extract and load.
Okay.
Customizing the data.
You're going to do mapping of the data.
What is my source and what is my target here?
Our source is employee table and the target is TGT.
Good. So let's go to the tool. I guess you guys will be very angry if I will not go to the tool now, right? I still have patience to just know the tool without looking into the tool.
Before going to that, we don't have anything on the workflow monitor since you did not.
Workflow monitor, once we will start the workflow in the web, then we can go to the workflow monitor and see the progress. I will show you that. Anyone else have anything to ask quickly? Okay, so if no question, Let's tool now. You're going to start working on. I'm going to start the services first because it is installed on the same system. I'm going to start Informatica service first. So let's go to I started the service. Let's go to the Informatica tool now. Go in the Power Center. This admin component, there I'm not going. Go to the client and green key Center Designer. They have red W as Center Workflow Manager, blue Center Workflow Monitor, and the tree manager where admin works. So I'm just going to do this admin work, but I explain too much right now because I don't want to make you add first class itself. Then I'm going to tell you anything here. Do you know that? I'm going to do one thing here. I will explain you what it is. So let's go as usual to Informatica. And three do you see here? Green Inter Designer, red is Workflow Manager, blue is Work Monitor. Which one I have to go here first? The Workflow Manager or Workflow Monitor?
Power Center Designer.
Correct. So I have to go to Power Center Designer. And this is called repository where all the information will be stored. So here and go to connect. Give the password. So my password is again administrator. That's the secret I am going to tell you. Okay. So what and username is same. Connect. And then make folders here. Will be created for different projects. So one folder is L51. L folder for your batch. So how many of you know your batch number? So your batch number is 51. I started the in 2012, and this your batch is a 51 batch. So click on this folder. Now you need subfolders inside that, right? So it says targets, cube, dimensions, transformations, maplets, and all. With all these folders, most of the time you will work on 3 folders. Set and mapping. And area where you're going to work. Your first component as source analyzer, the target designer, third transformation developer, One is the Maplet designer and is Mapping designer. That I explained you before, right? Now, source analyzer, what we are going to do, guys?
We import
data to.
Correct. Absolutely right.
So question, the one new folder you created, F51, all those tables are default, like the
Yes. Yes. These are default. For moving forward,
So contain any tables? Those.
not
Okay.
then and this instruction, right? How to solve this.
what
We have installed in our computer, so you will use this analyzer tool, right?
Mhm. So, in folders, corresponding workspace. So, what work you are going to do in the source analyzer, it's a sources folder. Whatever work you will do in the target designer, in the target folder, like for all these files. Right now, all the folders are empty, nothing is there. So this to right. You already in the source analyzer workspace. You will see the menu bar. Sources here. Click sources and import from database. And you have to give username, password. So see the ODBC connection done between Informatica and Oracle database. Got it? Since we are going to import the source structure, then we need to have a ODBC connection, right? So this connection is for Oracle XE database. Now give the username. What was the username? Where my source is? No, talking about database or a type of database. But what was the schema name where the source was?
HR.
Yeah.
HR and they connect. You will click here, go to tables, my table name which we are looking for.
Employees.
Let's keep going, and I got it here. The table, and here just say OK. You got employees table here. We have target. So which icon I need to click now? Which workspace I need to go? I need to go to the second icon, target designer. Right, see here, source analyzer. If this icon, click now target designer. Anything change? See in the menu bar, if source analyzer, you will see source option here. In target designer, you will see target option here. If you go to the mapping, you see the mapping option here. So to the target designer, and then I need to import the target, right? So target here and in database, first option. Click here, give a name and password, HR, table name.
DGT1.
Many tables are there, right? And in your database also, when you one job, you may have hundreds of the tables. It's difficult to go to that particular table, right? And
Table name, we have to use search for the table.
so you have an option here to search it. So write TGT1 and on search. All the tables having TGT word will be. So TGT1 and just say okay. Now you got the source, target, right? To create the mapping, go to the mapping designer and click on the mapping and say create. Give the mapping name underscore. So I'm going to create the first mapping, so I will just write M_M1. Okay. And you have source, you have source, get here. Now, if you have any question, I'm expecting one question from you guys.
Source qualifier.
Question. Whenever I start Informatica batch, I always expect someone will ask the question here when I do the first mapping. But in batches, I don't get that much lucky to get questions. Batch, because one of you asked me question, source definition and source qualifier. Very good question. Because when I drag the source, I got two objects. Well, in the target, I just have one object, right? So, Informatica tool like extraction, transformation, and loading connects with many sources like Oracle, Teradata, DB2 mainframe, SAP. So this is just the source what I imported. The extraction component of Informatica who extracts the data from source. This source qualifier is the E part, means extraction part of Informatica. And what I do? Data type actually. Oracle is number PS, where in Informatica you can see where it's decimal, string, data. So it has its own data type. Okay. So any sources it connects, it converts into own sources and then process the data. That's why when you drag the source, you see two components. Whereas in case of target, you see this Oracle data type itself. Informatica cuts internally while loading and loading to the target. To data, it has to go to that source system and data from there and work into its own source before processing it. In the target, it just has to create insert a statement, that's it. So go in the target, it creates two objects. Don't have any questions?
Every source, why is that blue arrow manager ID employee ID?
The question.
Okay, employee source, the manager ID and employee ID, they are connected. So,
Okay, got it. So, the integrity constraint it has, like the employee ID is referencing manager ID. So in the database, in table there is primary key foreign key relationship. Got it.
Employee ID is the primary key and manager ID is the foreign key, right?
Yes. So the database itself was the primary key. So when we imported the source structure, imported all the key also along with that. And yes,
How do we know that the target destination is TGT1?
so when we get, right now what we did, we just a guess, okay, so let's start creating a mapping. So we decided, okay, let's take employee as source and one as target. But on the actual project, what you need to do there, format document, where we will have the source table mentioned, you have the target table, the logic, which column of source will be connected to which column of target. That part when we will do, you learn all these things there. Right? Our goal is just a tool and make artificial requirements like as source, take TGT1 as target and all. But when you project, you will have a requirement document to work on the mapping. Got it?
Thank you.
No problem. Any other question anyone have? Let's move forward. So this employee ID, we have to map to EMP ID. So let's map it. Support, drag it, and connect to EMP ID. E-name. We have to connect first name to e-name. ID to. Now you are done with the mapping. Do you know that? Save it. Set free and click on save. Or just press Ctrl S. Start with the mapping now. Anyone?
Last name, we not across e-name, just
Connected just the first name. That's it. When you will get the requirement document, it will be clearly mentioned how you need to populate e-name. Okay.
In EGT1, EMP ID, e-name, salary, those are all ready. I mean, they were in or one. We selected the TGT1, so these are ready. The EMP ID, e-names, and
Go to the database table.
Okay.
Just right.
Okay, fine. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
So 4 columns, right?
Yeah, okay.
Anyone guys?
These transformation developer and maplet designer, do they not come here in the picture?
So,
Mapping.
these components, when we have to create a reusable transformation, this is for group of transformation. I have not shown you yet. Cycles are the transformations. This is to aggregate data, this is to filter out, the join, we will do slowly. So it's clear to all of you?
And more, so every time we have to map it manually. Now, one you did it with the employee ID to the EMP ID. Sorry, is there any?
No, not going to perform. You have to create this map.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Anyone else?
So before we do change anything, like design and we change before we set target TG1, right? Here you just connect directly to TG1. So what our part of duty that we have to do?
Part will be to create such kind of mapping. It will be created by the DBA and to import the table and create the mapping.
Is manual.
You have all the logic like what is your source table, what is the target, and what is going to be connected from so to which column of the target. Clear?
To create a table in a SQL or a database, only we need to transfer these.
You are going to work as Informatica developer. You don't have to create the table. Table will be designed by the data modeler and DBA.
Oh, thank you.
You have to use it.
Okay. Thank you.
Source table becomes then TG1, right? Basically, you just then it on table altogether.
So what is the source table here is? Employee is source table or TGT1 is source table?
Employee.
Right. And what is the target table here?
TG1.
So what is the confusion now?
Connect the source table to TGT1. So now next, like what will the source table still stay Informatica in the main, the original, or it become the T1, the target table?
Did not understood your question. So can you just elaborate more like what you say? Like
After after this process, we two tables or it's all?
So I guess you are confused, like we are creating this mapping, right?
Right.
Okay. Anyone else having any other questions too? What is the goal we have here? It's to load data from OLTP system to OLAP system. That so, and we suppose OLTP table and TT1 is OLAP table. What we need to do? Get data from employees and into TT1. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Source table will be still there. I just need to extract data from employees and to TGT1 table. That's it we are going to do here. Guys, anyone? So what's the next step? Yeah, go ahead. Someone was asking question.
This one, so once we create this TGT1, so it's directly stored in the server, you mean to say? Server, it's already created in the server itself, just we are mapping it.
So this TGT1 and employees database table, okay. And it's already there in the database. What we are doing here, we are to load data from employees to TGT1 table through Informatica.
Where this server comes into the picture, you said like we are going to load from the client to the server, from the Informatica client to the Informatica server.
So this is, right now we are working on Informatica client. So we'll always work on Informatica client and code, whatever you created, will be saved on the server machine. Informatica client and Informatica server in the same machine.
You mean to say when we want to map the data, then we have to select the table from the server, real-time project?
Okay. So first try to understand the database. Data we created on a computer, right? And that was server. Means the computer is called a server. Database on one of the computer. And if it is a OLTP system, this is your OLTP system server. Yeah. Another computer who have created this and the OLAP system. Computers. In the computer, you have OLTP database. In computer, you have OLAP base. Okay? You have a third computer where you have installed Informatica software. You connected first computer to third and third computer to second computer. So your Informatica machine is connected to source machine and the target machine. Clear? You will run this Informatica code. It will take the data from source system and server and the Informatica server to
So basically, target machine is a data warehouse, right?
Correct. The target machine is OLAP system. Here I can show you once more. Okay, so you can see here, the first computer where you have OLTP database. This is the second computer where OLTP, and this is the Informatica machine. So from here to here, and then Informatica to
But example, the Informatica tool, what you've shown. So in the TGT1, suppose you said both the source and destination are in the same system. Suppose if it could be the other destination, then we have to select from a different way to the server. Directly, we are going to transfer the target table into the server, or first we have to create that TGT1 into the local system, then transfer it into the server.
there is no any local or remote. Target table created in a database. To transfer the table, we are going to transfer the data.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
So the table EMP will be created in this machine. Well, TGT will be created in this OLAP machine.
Okay.
What Informatica is going to do, it will take data from employees table, load data into the OLAP.
Got it.
Will be still employed in OLAP machine, with OLTP machine. Everyone will be in OLAP machine. We are going to move the table, okay?
Okay, thank you. Got it.
No any other question? So now let's move back to Informatica again. So I am done with the Informatica designer. What next? What is the next component?
Workflow manager.
So let's go to the workflow manager. Either you go here, on and read W. There are 4 icons here. You can this one, it will just take you to the workflow manager directly. So see workflow manager open for you. Also we have 4 folders. We are going to one workflow folder. And here you have 3 workspace. Go to the workflow designer. And workflow. So how to create a workflow? Go here. First going to create option, okay? Go to wizard. Click what should be the workflow name. So we will give WF underscore main. So mapping name, any one of you remember that?
M1.
Go. Say this answer.
Priya.
What in the morning, Priya?
Nothing, just a glass of water.
Oh, good. WF underscore mapping name, just say next. see the mapping name here. If you will have multiple mappings, you will see all the mapping lists here. And in the workflow manager, we create a session task for mapping and section here. So here the session task, the mapping and session will be created this side. So you have the session, now say next, and keep going. Your workflow is already created. Too much detail in the session, because if you will double click, you have many customization options here. We'll do all these. First, our goal is just how we can run the workflow. You go to the target data we have right now. I don't have anything in the target. Now done with the workflow, let's save it. How to save? Control. See? Workflow, guys. So now let's run the workflow. How to run the workflow? Go option here. See here this option. Workflow. You will start. Workflow monitor will automatically open. Do you see? It's in progress. Mapping. And now it's saying it succeeded. It is at 2:18:17:6:41. It's California time, and it's completed at 2:18:6:41:51. So how many seconds has taken to complete? Click here, and the get run properties. This thing showing you. Many out of that statistics, 108 records, and get 108 records loaded. Now the database and check it out if you have the data now. So data loaded. Rough 108 rows total. So 108 records loaded to your target. Any question, guys? Any one of you have? Any? No? Okay, now I'm going to show you one more mapping and then we will wrap up. Load data from employees to E1. Why those employees whose salary greater than 10,000?
Select our employees where salary is greater than 10,000.
But I have to do using Informatica tool.
From TGT1, where is greater than 10,000?
Okay, so let me tell you. We load data from employees table. Okay. and we need to load to TGT1 table. But selecting the data from employees table, load all the data. We will load one employees whose salary greater than $10. I deleted all the data from TT1. I show you going to load. So nothing is there now. Source table for this requirement. And the target.
TGT1.
And the filter condition. So it means all of you understood the requirement now. That's good to know. Third, and Informatica code. So to designer, there is a source and target here existing one, right? What you need to do? We create a new mapping. So you don't have to import source and target. First of all, you need to check if source, if no need to import source. If it's not there, import it. The target. If you have that target, if yes, no need to import. If it's there, then import. What many people do, keep the source and import it again. No need to do that. If the source already, just do that. Go to the mapping and say create. What would be this mapping name? Any one of you have any suggestion here?
For M2.
For M2?
Underscore M.
S underscore what?
Yes, underscore M1.
So I'm just going to give some logical name to this mapping. Name.
M underscore 1,
S1.
salary 1.
Right, so M underscore salary grand. Okay. How about this one? So say, and in the source and target also. But this time, we don't have to connect directly. We have to filter out the data. Got it? We are not going to connect the source and target directly. We filter out the data in between. How? Information we can use for that purpose. You have many transformations here.
Filter.
Filter, right?
No.
Left
One.
side.
Like a funnel.
Yeah, funnel.
Okay, so you guys are very fast, seems to be. That's correct. This is the filter transformation. So, and click here to code employee ID, first name, and I need to bring salary and department ID. Now I have to write the filter condition, but I forgot the filter condition. Any one of you remember?
Greater than 10K.
1,000 or 10,000?
10,000.
Okay, okay, got you. So the filter transformation here and properties. Okay, let me show you once more. Double click on the filter transformation and the properties. And filter condition. And you see the filter condition window you have right here. So this one here, and will open one filter window. Click on that. Now you have very big window to write your filter condition. So, and all the ports here, you don't have to type it. This is a lazy person who don't want to type more and more. They just like to have drag and drop kind of things. For created this tool. You are going to work on Informatica, and if you are not lazy, I'm pretty sure you are going to be a lazy people. If you don't want to be lazy or you want to be a lazy people?
Want to be lazy.
If you don't want to be lazy, then you are not going to learn this tool, guys. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of messages. Some of you are saying, oh, I don't want to be lazy. Then how you will learn this tool then? Saying, yeah, I want to be lazy. Oh, that's a good message. So here you have the port actually, whatever the port you are going to write the filter condition. So from the salary and greater than 10,000. So okay, and just apply and okay, that's it. Delete it and I will show you once more. Click on the funnel, and that funnel will go on the project, and if by mistake also you told this transformation as funnel transformation, people will be laughing whole day at you.
And you are
I saw some new animal in the office today. Okay. Don't call it as funnel, it is filter transformation. First day we are going to call funnel and making this person funny. But next day don't take it as a funnel transformation, okay? Otherwise people will make fun of you. Select these two ports, employee ID and first name, salary, select department ID. Filter transformation, double click. Go to properties and on the filter condition. True things and put on the salary greater than 1,000. Clear all of you? Say.
That will be always true, return, or
Yeah, that is all the filter condition will be true. Let's connect to the target. And save it. I'm done with the map. What?
Workflow monitor.
Workflow monitor or workflow manager?
Workflow manager.
manager.
I was a little surprised how you are going directly to the workflow monitor itself. We go only once we run the job. Okay. Workflow manager, let's create a workflow. Go to wizard, and name. Again, WF underscore mapping name. How many of you remember what mapping name now?
Underscore SAL SAL underscore
yes. GT
underscore 10K.
I don't have to go and check it out Priya water. Since that water have a lot of energy, huh? Priya? I got the correct answer from Priya and Ratna. Good job. I guess one of other guy were also speaking. I just did Sankita. Okay, good. Good job. So let's give the mapping name. It was MSAL GT10K. See how I did that magic in one shot. Next. Two mappings. So you need to select for mapping you are going to create the workflow. So create for this one, right? Select and click on this part. Go next, finish. Save. And we just have to run the workflow. So to the workflow manager and start workflow. So enter, you see the workflow already succeeded. You have to see the properties and go to run properties here. Now from 108 records came and the target 116, right? So now let's go to the database and check it out. There are only 16, and you see employees have salary greater than 10. So this Informatica works. If you have any question, confusion, then
So the name we give in real time, we have already to file or we have to create our own.
name
We did just M underscore.
weighted file here.
The name we give for the
naming convention for these.
Whose name? Name, wireframe name, workflow name, mapping name, which name?
yeah mapping name, any name that already get from the.
You won't tell me the file name, don't give me big salt right in the morning itself. It was name, and I agree with you guys that this is the first class, so tell like that, but of course, slowly you guys will get mature. So mapping name I gave. So we follow the naming convention, like what name we are going to give. So as the project in the beginning itself, you all will decide what should be the name of mapping. Okay, clear. What we are going to do in project. If I'm pulling any one of your leg, don't feel listen. Okay, I'm just trying to make it more interesting. Do you have any other question?
An open source from where we can get the software?
No, it's very costly tool. It's not open source.
Okay.
Yes, question.
So we can download it then. We have to buy it?